Hello friends, welcome to my cozy haven. My name is Fiona. I'm really glad you clicked my video today. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I'm just chatting about the books that I've read over the last fortnight and what I'm going to be reading this weekend, what my weekend plans are. So hopefully you are going to enjoy it. Sorry there was no video last week. As I said in my sort of community tab post, I was absolutely shattered. I think I'd had my flu jab and it was just making my body just go, no, we are not going to do anything, we are just going to sleep. I mean, I was doing things like going to bed at 10 o'clock, managed to read till about 10:15, and then the light was out and I was sleeping around till 10:30, 11 o'clock the following morning. So I just needed to obviously just sleep and just rest, and I could have tried to make the video and push myself, and it wouldn't have been a good video, and I just wouldn't have been happy putting it out. I know that possibly because of that there are a few subscribers that have dropped off, and I'm really sorry that that's happened, that I wasn't consistent, but that, I can't, when I'm really tired and I'm achy and everything, I can't do it, and I don't think it's fair on you guys. It's also not fair on me to try and do it, and it would be yucky and not very nice. Reading wise, we've been doing quite well this last fortnight. So I did finish. Hold on. No, don't you dare fall down. I did finish The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I gave this 4 out of 5. I buddy read this with Rebecca, the colourful book nester, and Emily from Emily's Excellent Epics. I will leave a link to both their channels down in the greenhouse, down in the description box down below. But yes, as you can see, I have tabbed the heck out of this. I love this. So we meet Turlu. We know about Turlu from the spell shop. She is the lady that how am I going to put it? Developed Kaz or formed Kaz? Kaz was the sentient spider plant in the last book. Now, Turlu did it for a very good reason. She was lonely. The job was not what she expected it to be. And she just wanted someone to talk to. She shouldn't have done it because she wasn't registered to do magic. She wasn't a sorcerer. And she was basically turned into a statue. But as we know from the spell shop, things in Elysium are changing, and there's been a coup and a revolution, and somebody has sent the statue to this island of Beld, or Bled, and I think it's Beld, B-E-L-D. I think that's the way I would pronounce it anyway, I think. So, anyway, she's been awoken from being a statue. She's been unstatuified, as it's called. And she finds herself on this wonderful island with all these magnificent greenhouses. Each greenhouse is very different, and each atmosphere in the greenhouse is different. She also meets Yarrow. Yarrow is the gardener, the only gardener for all these greenhouses. And they get off to a sort of slightly rough start, but things then start to come together, is the way I'm going to put it. And it's about one person in particular, Turlu, finding her calling and finding where she belongs in the world. It's about realizing, or it's not realizing, but family is difficult, can be difficult, and sometimes you need, even though circumstances have been difficult, you do actually need your family to help and support you. It's also about taking care of each other, taking care of the world around us. It was absolutely delightfully written. I mean, some of the descriptions were just, oh, just so, so good. Let's see if I can find you. Green is natural descriptions. Where are we going? Right, okay, this is one. The greenhouse smelt of fresh dust, fresh dirt, and 1,000 flowers. The perfume of the perfect summer night, when the cicadas sang tenor to the buffalo's bullfrog's bass, and the moon is heavy with the promise of a fall harvest. There's another one. Perched in the rafters was a bird with flowers growing out of its feathers. Roses cascaded from its tail, and a lilac sprig sprouted from its head, and the bluebells coated its wings. Sarah Beth Durst has a way of writing and a way of putting things that it's just beautiful. I love the way she writes. I love her characters in this. They were just really good. I am not wanting to say very much about this because I think to appreciate it, you need to read it. I don't want to give the story away. And that's the last thing I want to do because I think it's a really good book just to go in blind and just thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy. Do you need to have read the Spell Shop before you read The Enchanted Greenhouse? It gives you a bit of backstory. But you don't need to have read it. But I'm very glad that I did read it before I read this one. And I'm really pleased that she's bringing out the next one in this series next year, which I am really looking forward to. It'll be very interesting to see where she takes this series. But no, thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this one. I then read One Big Happy Family by Susan Ballery. This was her Christmas book last year, and I gave this one 4 out of 5. Majority of my books so far this month been 4 out of 5, guys. So yeah, so in this one we meet Julie, and Julie's children this year, have decided they don't want to do the big family Christmas at the cabin because it's the first year that since their father has passed away. And she's like, yeah, that's fine, no problems. I'm quite happy. I can make other plans. And she does make other plans with her boyfriend, who is younger than her, which she finds very hard to, shall we say, cope or understand with at times. But then the kids go, no, Mum, actually we want the family Christmas at the cabin. So she's like, right, okay, fine. So she decides, right, okay, she's going to bring her boyfriend Heath with her. And she hasn't told her kids about him. One of her children, Nick, is married, and his wife Blair has irritable bowel syndrome, which is the most horrible thing. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And any form of stress really, really upsets that. But Blair can't leave her mother in the city on her own because, it's her mum's first Christmas in the city. Her mum has moved into the city, and Blair doesn't understand why she's done this because she's not happy. She doesn't have any friends. So she invites her mother to come to the cabin as well. We then have Heath's children. They were supposed to go to their mother, but she's been invited off with her new man. So Heath says, can I bring the kids? And like Julie's like, yeah, no problem. And then we also have Dana, who is Julie's daughter, and she's coming on her own. There's also Blair's uncle, who always comes to the family things. He's coming. Huxley, who works with Julie, is coming as well because he always was part of the family. But something happens there's a man that Dana has been dating on off, who's like, I'm not good for you, but keeps coming back, called Axel. But something happens to Axel, so Axel ends up coming. And then something happens to Tiffany, who is Heath's ex, and she ends up coming. So there's all these people in this house, and there's all these kind of broken connections, and it's trying to make the Christmas magical for the kids, but also these other people struggling with various things. And things come to a head because Nick has been keeping a secret from his mother. And something happens to Julie that she ends up in hospital, and ends up that Heath has to look after her in the house, and she's not taking well to this. Because she's supposedly the one in control, and it's just all of this amalgamation of what's happening. And there's like, can Blair and her mother work things out? And I mean, the mother can be very, very forthright, and she will just tell you or say something, and it doesn't matter whether it's politically correct or not. It's just, I'm saying it and that's it. So there was a lot going on in it. It made you at times feel anxious, I have to say. You're like, what? Come on, no. I did find Blair's mother a bit of a pain. And I was like, oh, really? But it was a good story. When you got past that, it was a really good story, and I really liked the way that Susan Malley had written all these characters and the juxtaposition they were in, and just how things worked out, and how characters had to work through things, but in the end, you got your happily ever afters, and it was really, really good. Family comes in all shapes and sizes, and we don't always get on. And this book showed that, communication is the key. Communication is the key. The same with the Enchanted Greenhouse. Communication is really, really important. And that's something that I've taken from both these books. That you do have to communicate. You can't expect people to mind read. And I really appreciated that was coming forward. So I would, if you're looking for a Christmas book but you don't mind a wee bit of angst, then I would definitely pick this one up. I then read A Wonderful Christmas Crime by Jacqueline Frost. This is the next book in the Reindeer Games or Mistletoe, the Christmas Tree Farm mystery, sorry. So there's the cover again. Absolutely beautiful, as always. I love the covers in these books, are just fantastic. So we're back in Mistletoe, Maine with Holly and everybody else. And she and her husband are really looking forward to hopefully a nice gentle Christmas, a Christmas without any, crime, shall we say. And we find out that this year Holly's going to have to take a back seat from things for various reasons. And she's sort of happy about this. But her husband decides to cheer her up, that she's going to go with her friends on this, I'm calling it a progressive dinner throughout the town. It's an annual thing, and tickets are as rare as hen's teeth. And, she's managed to get some, so she's going with her friends. And they'd go to one of a relatively new cafe in town that's run by Anna. And Anna's from Sweden. And her theme for the cafe is like Swedish Scandinavian goats decorations. And the trees are, decorated with them, and they're beautiful. And while they're there, this lady tries to take one of the goats off the tree and walk away with it. And Anna's like, no, you can't do that. These are mine. You cannot take them. They are not for sale. And the woman, they get into a wee bit of a fight, and the woman ends up on her backside, you know, and then other people get started. And this kind of upsets Holly and her friends, and she decides, right, okay, we'll go back at the end of the night and check that Anna's okay. They do go back at the end of the night, and they discover Anna beside this lady's body with blood in her hands and like the goat decoration in her hand. But also the front door of the cafe has been smashed in. So we have to decide what's been going on. Add to that, we have an Antiques Roadshow, their very, very last Antiques Roadshow happening in the town, and is a really big deal. There are lots of antique dealers from all around the country, all around the world coming to it. So obviously Holly would like to support Anna and try and work out what's happening, because they don't want her to be kind of the main suspect. Anna's grandfather also comes over from Sweden to support her, and he's a lovely, lovely character. I really liked him. I liked the fact that, as well as we got the mystery again, we also get what's happening at the farm, and what's happening at the reindeer games, and how people are helping Holly out. It was just an absolutely delightful read. I gave it 4 out of 5. Just so much fun, and a definite great Christmas cozy mystery. I say I'm leaving this very vague. I do not want to give you the plot. It's just, no, that's not right. So yeah, definitely go and read this. Do you have to read the others before you've read this one? It would help for backstory with Holly and everything. Definitely. But if you don't mind not knowing some of the backstory, you probably could read it as a standalone. But I think you're better off having read the previous books before this. But no, thoroughly enjoyed that one. The next book I read was The Tattered Cover by Ellery Adams. This is the next book in a secret book and scone society. Oh, this one again, I'm going to be very, very vague with the premise. So I gave this one 4 out of 5. So we're back with Nora and the gang, and the town is getting ready for Halloween, and it goes all out for Halloween. And Nora's decided that maybe she wants to branch into maybe some authors coming in to do book signings. And one author's come in and they've done a book signing and, a bit of a reading, and went really, really well. And then this other lady comes in and goes, I could do one for my book, and I'd be quite happy to do, she's a psychic or a medium, I'd be quite happy to do maybe a reading for a select few. And Nora's sort of like, but she agrees to it. And a select number of people have bought tickets for the private reading afterwards. And at that, the mystic ends up dead. And it's like, who out of I think it was 6 or 7 people who were in the room at the time murdered the psychic. And it's the story of Nora and her friends trying to work out who did it and why. We also have the side story of Nora is, her house, she can't live in it at the moment. So she's living with her boyfriend, who's the chief of police. And it's, does she stay there permanently, or does she move back into her house when it's ready? And so we have that going on. We have various bits of news from Nora's friends from the book group, and I just absolutely loved this. It was a really good next book in the series. I love the characters, I love the setting. As I say, if this bookstore was real, I would want to go to it, because I want to So see what I would love to know what book Nora would recommend for me, and I would also love to see what mug was chosen for me in the cafe to drink from. I think it would just be so good, and the pastries that they sell just sound absolutely delightful. So yeah, it would be an amazing experience if this bookshop actually was real. It would be brilliant. But yeah, so again, you need to have read the other books in the series. I think for continuity, yes, it's probably a good idea that you do. I have to say, I jumped into this series, I think, at book 4. So I jumped in at that point. I do plan to actually make sure I get the rest of them, so that I have the whole series. But I absolutely adore this series. It is just such a wonderful set of characters and setting that I'm just, oh, it makes my heart happy when I read them. The next one is Where the Stars Burn by Erica May. Erica's a friend of mine that I've made through another author friend, and for her first book that came out in this series, she asked me would I read it to see if all the Scottish details were right, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And she asked me to do the same for this one, so I actually got a copy of her manuscript, and I'm so glad I did, because this is just so good. So in this story, we reacquaint ourselves with Brielle and Bryce from the first book and the children. But we also, it is more to do with Andrea, who is Brielle's best friend, who still lives in Los Angeles. Brielle and the kids have moved into Bryce's home in Glasgow, or on the outskirts of Glasgow. And Andrea is supposed to come over for Christmas, and things happen that Brielle says to her, look, why not come over earlier, and that'll be fine. So Andrea does come over and spends her time in what is possibly her happy place, which is the kitchen. She loves to cook, she loves to bake. It is something that de-stresses her, it's something that she just loves. And she ends up going onto the set of the TV show that Bryce is one of the stars of. It's a big Scottish production, and she meets some of the cast, and also there's a man there, Rory, who makes all the swords for the production. He's a swordsmith, a blacksmith. And there's a bit of a connection between them, but there's also another character who thinks he's, the bee's knees, etc., and sort of tries to string Andrea along, and he's just really not a nice character at all. But Rory is always there. But then she ends up being at, Briella manages to organise for her to spend some time with the catering unit. And she goes to sort of see the catering unit, and they're like really, really short staffed. And they're like, any chance we know you cook, any chance you could come and help us out? So she does. She goes and she helps them out. And then something happens that she ends up having to go and do the catering for the show up in the Highlands, because something happens to the people that do the catering. And it's an absolute hit, and the catering staff and the cast are just absolutely enthralled with. They love what she's done, and she has a big decision to make. Does she do catering full time, because there's possibly a job there for her, or does she go back to Los Angeles and try and pick up the remnants of what she was doing there? Add to the mix Rory. And what happens with him is he going to be, he's your lovely Scottish Highland guy who has been burnt by other people, but really wants to make a connection with Andrea, but doesn't really know how to do it. He's a bit rusty in the old dating and flirting game. but it's as the two of them spend more time together, it's, you know, the connection grows and grows and grows. And it was beautifully written. The descriptions and everything of Scotland were bang on. She got it so right. I mean, I met her when she was coming over to do the research for this book and for the next one. And it was, she got every detail right. And for me as a Scot, to have an author who takes the time to do that and get everything right, and even the fact that she said to me, right, can you read this and make sure I've got it right, it speaks volumes for her. And please go and read this book because it's brilliant. The one before that is called, hold on, I'm going to need to do a wee search here. So because you need to have done, you need to have read the first book in order to have read this book. It's called The Stars of Scotland. Oh, go away. No, come back. Oh, don't need, come on. So The Stars of Scotland, you need to have read this one, I think, before you read the next one, because so you get the full story. But if you're looking for a really good Highland Scottish romance with a gorgeous Highland guy, these are the ones for you. Seriously, they are good. And then I read, I gave the Erica May 4 out of 5. I then read All Together for Christmas by Sarah Morgan. I'm very lucky to be in the Sarah Morgan review crew, and I received this book in exchange for Non's review. So this one, we meet the Balfour family, and this year all 3 children are coming back home for Christmas, and their mother Jenny is like really excited and she's really happy, but there are some added pressures that go with this. Her husband Martin has retired from being the local doctor, and he's, shall we say, not doing well with being retired. He's struggling, okay? So there's that, and she needs him to be a bit more, come on mate, I need you to be a bit more with it, and I need you to be helping me. But he's just sort of going, okay, so that's him. She knows that her son, Jamie, is it? Yeah. Her son Jamie is bringing somebody home, and he has a big announcement to make. And the girl that he's bringing home, Hayley, has never had a family Christmas. And Jenny's like feeling the pressure because she doesn't really know what to do. Because she knows what their family Christmas is like, but is it what Hayley's expecting? And her mother, Phyllis, Jenny's mother, Phyllis, said, well, have you not watched any of the Christmas movies? And Jenny's like, no, you need to watch them and take notes. So of course Jenny does this and realises, oh my gosh, I need to redo the decorating here. I need lights out the front, Christmas trees out the front. I need Christmas trees in every bedroom. I need the house decorated to the nines. And so she goes about doing this. And, you know, that's fine. And Martin does kind of start playing his part, you know. And then so that's those two. That's her son and her son's girlfriend. We then have his younger twin sisters, Rosie and Becky. Rosie is coming home with her husband Declan. Now, they had a whirlwind romance, got married in the spring, and the cracks are beginning to show. But they have agreed to put a face on it and have, you know, everything will be sorted in the new year. But can that really happen? Is it something that they're going to be able to do? And it's like, you know, Rosie loves Christmas, and can she really go through Christmas pretending to be enjoying Christmas? So we have that. Declan is a very quiet man, doesn't really say much, and, you know, internalizes things. We then have the other twin, Becky, and Becky is not really wanting to come home for Christmas. She has her reasons. And at the airport, she ends up meeting Will, who is Jamie's best friend. And the flights are cancelled because of the snow, so they end up having to drive home from London to Northumberland. And Declan's the only one that really knows why she doesn't want to come home for Christmas. And once all the kids arrive, the big announcement is made. It's not what everybody thinks, and it's like... And then Rosie can't contain her anxiety thoughts anymore, and she blurts something out, which ends up making Becky blurt something out. So all the secrets and everything come out, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And it's like, can they really have a family Christmas where everything is resolved and everybody is happy? And that's what the story's about. It's about, again, communication. Maybe not keeping the secrets, or maybe communicating things before things get any worse. Yes, there was anxiety in this. Yes, it was like, oh, really? But I absolutely loved it. I think the fact that Sarah Morgan makes such a good job as well of not only the family dynamics, but each character was so well rounded and written, but also the fact that she uses the location and the house as part of the plot, and you get the descriptions of, you know, how the house looked and what it was like at the beach and the snow and everything. It was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Again, 4 out of 5. It's one that you know, I know that people find reading books with character anxiety hard, and I totally get that. So maybe this is not the book for you, but oh, Sarah Morgan does a great job at writing. Her Christmas books are just superb, and I absolutely adored this one. It was just really fun. So those are all the books that I've read. So what am I reading now? I've picked up A Fatal Crossing by Tom Hindle. This is the first book in this series. I have read 36 pages, and at the moment it's not grabbing me. I am going to read more of it. I'm not going to just DNF it at this point. I'm hoping that it improves, but I'm not at the moment enamoured with it, but we will see if it does improve. Yeah, we'll see. And then on my Kindle, I am reading Destination Christmas by Candace Y. Johnson. Hold on. Actually, I should have shown you this on the tablet. Never mind. But yeah, so let's see if I can find it on the tablet. If you just hold on for, just chat amongst yourselves. I'll tell you about the book anyway. So we meet this lady Sutton, who is an author, and she writes books aimed for young girls, okay? And basically, no, sorry, I need to concentrate. Yeah, so she writes books for young girls, and it's kind of advice, and there you go. There's the cover. Beautiful, beautiful cover. Stunning cover. Love the cover. Okay? And she's at this signing, and this gentleman comes in and starts berating her. Okay? And she's like, what have I ever done to you? I don't know you. It's like, stop trying to give my daughter advice, blah, blah, blah. And her sort of manager goes, hey, whoa, stop. So we have that meeting, and the guy's name is Drew. Sutton's family want a big family Christmas, herself, her parents, all her siblings, and she's like, no, I can't cope with this. So she books herself into a venue in Vermont, which is snowing and everything else, and she doesn't do snow for a reason. She arrives there, and who's there but Drew and his daughter. Daughter is absolutely delighted that she's here. Drew sort of is grudgingly, yeah, you're okay, fine. I realise you aren't doing this on purpose. And they start to get along. And they start to enjoy time together. And then Sutton's family arrive. And then Drew's daughter's mother, they were never married. She arrives. So we have all of this together. Now, Sutton's family, I have to say, are horrendous. They are just such pains in the backside that they are actually spoiling the story for me. If I'm totally honest, I'm like, come on. Can we not just have Sutton and Drew and his daughter, Oakland, and can we not just have their story without all of this angst and horribleness from her family? Because they're just awful. The sort of Oakland's mother, Tiffany, I can't remember her name. I honestly can't remember her name. She's trying to stir things a bit, and I'm like, really? I'm just about finished at about 70-odd%. And what I feel is that the author has missed a trick in that she could have made this about the resort that they're staying in, all the activities that are there, the two of them and the wee girl, interacting with each other, getting to know each other, deciding do we want a relationship, do we not want a relationship? That could have been brilliant. We didn't need the added family dynamics. At least that's what I feel. Others may feel differently. And I have to say, I love Sutton, I love Drew, I love Oakland. I think they're great characters. I really do. The inn they're staying in, I want more about that. I want to know more about it. I want to know more about the people who are running it, the Littles. And, I want to know more about the town. And I'm not getting that, which is, I find very frustrating. So it's a shame it's for review, and I like it, but there are bits of it I don't like, and the bits that I don't like are maybe impinging more than the bits that I like, if that makes sense. So yeah. So that's kind of what I'm reading at the moment. And I have another little pile up there, but that's fine. That's good. That's happy. I'm happy with that. So that's kind of all I've been reading in the last couple of weeks, friends. Apart from sleeping. What have you been reading? I would love to know. Come chat with me down in the comments. I would love to know what you've been reading. Have you read any of these books that I've talked about? Again, come tell me what your thoughts are. Are there any that have appealed to you from what I've said? I would love to know. What have you been doing? And what are your plans for the weekend? What are my plans for the weekend? The URC starts this weekend. So that's it. That's my weekends now booked from now till May. Happy days, rugby time. Here we come. So we've got that this weekend. We have the final of the Women's Rugby World Cup, so I'm going to watch that. I've got a friend. We've got a friend arriving on Monday for a couple of days, so I need Mum and I and Dad will get not that the house is dirty, but we'll get the front bedroom sorted and we'll get everything organised for her coming. There's talk of a possible trip to Barter Books down in Alnwick. The other half's here and he's said that he would drive, so hopefully he and I are going out today, so hopefully we'll get that organised, which would be great. And yeah, I would take you along with that. I'll take you to Alnwick, don't worry. If we go, I will take you. Do not worry, do not fear, I will do so. But that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and it's kind of made up for the lack of video last week. To all my new subscribers, thank you very much. Hello, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't already and you have enjoyed this video, please, on your way to chat with me in the comments, why not hit that like button? I really appreciate that because it helps me in the algorithm. If you haven't already subscribed, why not hit that subscription button and the notification bell? It just tells you when I'm bringing out a new video. That would be brilliant because it just keeps my channel growing, which I am loving. I'm loving all the new people and all my old subscribers, my previous subscribers as well. All my subscribers, I love interacting with you all in the comments and everything. It's just great. But until my next video, friends, stay safe. Happy reading. Bye.